talking to both of them, how fired up they were. So if the coach
Welcome to another
can you
bonus
imagine how the
edition
players are
of
going to
Upon
be?
Further
Their
Review.
emotions are going to be at
And in
sky-high
this
level.
edition, we'll
That
be talking
means
about
we
the
are going to have a
Cincinnati
hard-hitting game.
Bengals
It's going to
at
be
the
a
New
lot of fun to
Orleans
watch.
Saints. And you can catch this Week 11 matchup on November 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And that'll be aired on your local CBS affiliates. So entering this game, the Bengals are 5-3-1 and the Saints are 4-5. And for those of you that are familiar with the show, we are doing something new this week as we're trying out a new feature as we're bringing you Madden gameplay where I'm playing as the team that I pick in this game and seeing if I can actually play it out the way that I envision it. And at the same time, I'm going to be giving you the same upon further review as I'll be going over the stats and giving analysis for the game while I'm playing. Did you see that one of the referees looked like Aaron Rodgers? I swear, like every random character in this game, like referees, water boys, people in the stands, they're all Aaron Rodgers. It's like Aaron Rodgers has a bunch of doppelgangers running around. Are they really doppelgangers if there's like friggin' 20 of them? But anyway, back to the show. Alright, so this is upon further review. Like I said, Bengals, Saints. Right here, I'm going to be the Saints in this game going against the Bengals because I'm picking the Saints. It's in New Orleans. And in New Orleans, the Saints are a different team than they are on the road, and I believe that they can win this game against the Bengals at home. The Bengals, so far in the season, they started off 3-0, and at that point, they looked like they were the class of the AFC. Right here in this game, though, they're going to be without Giovanni Bernard yet again, so it's going to be Aaron Hill that's going to get the call in the backfield, or Jeremy Hill rather. Sorry about Aaron Hill. I don't know. I see the Aaron Rodgers still. Oh, but Jeremy Hill is going to be in the backfield for the Bengals. Vontaze Burfict is also out. As I was saying though, the Bengals started off 3-0. They won in Baltimore. Then at home they beat the Falcons and the Titans. They had their bye week in week 4, and then they went to New England in week 5 and they got blown out. And that's when everything changed, really, is after going to New England. Because then they had that tie game at home against the Panthers, and then they lost in Indianapolis. They got shut out. They did bounce back, though, against their division rivals, the Ravens, because they ended up sweeping the season series. And that was in week 8, and then they ended up in week 9 hosting the Jaguars, and they won that game, so they got back-to-back wins. Then in week 10, Cleveland came into Cincinnati in the Battle of Ohio. The Bengals ended up losing to the Browns. And now they're going to New Orleans. Are they going to lose back-to-back games? That is the question. But here we have the Saints on defense right here. It's a 3rd and 10 in this Madden game right here we're playing. And we'll deal with this 3rd down situation, and then I'll go over the Saints schedule. So I'll make sure I try to stop them here. Big 3rd down early on. Oh, and they stop them. So they're forcing the punt. And for the Saints, they started off 0-2 with those 2 road games, first in Atlanta, then in Cleveland. They lost in week 1 in overtime. That was a tough loss. And then they lost in Cleveland as the Browns came from behind as they scored, I think it was 24, 25 unanswered points to come from behind. 23 maybe? They came from behind. They ended up beating them, and so they were 0-2. Then they won their first game at home against Minnesota, but then they went to Dallas and they lost their 3rd road game of the year, as they just are a different team on the road. But at home, they actually can get some victories, and that's what they did in week 5. Is they ended up beating the Bucks. It was a tight game though in overtime. They then had their bye week. They went to Detroit and they lost by 1 point. They were beating actually that was in London, right? They were beating the Lions, but then the Lions came back. It was pretty amazing. Come from behind win for the Lions. I gotta pick a play here. Let's run the ball. What the heck? Alright, so then in week 8, They ended up hosting the Packers. That was on Sunday Night Football. Not a lot of people gave them a chance to win that game. I actually picked them to beat the Packers, although the Packers are a really good team, and usually I'm picking the Packers. But in that game, I had a feeling the Saints would win in New Orleans, and they did win that game. They then went on the road on Thursday Night Football, a short week too, playing prime time on Sunday Night Football and then having to play prime time on Thursday Night Football. I actually picked the Panthers in that game, and the Saints surprised me with a big win there in Carolina on the road, their first road victory of 2014. And then in Week 10 last week against the 49ers came into town, and the 49ers got the win as they were the first team to beat the Saints in New Orleans, and that went to overtime as well. That fumble in overtime was heartbreaking for Saints fans. So they got to bounce back with the victory. They can't afford to lose 2 games at home. And especially the Saints are still alive in that NFC South. Those of you who watched the Falcons-Panthers game that we did the Upon Further review for, I was talking about how both those teams technically, still in it, very much in this NFC South. And you got the Saints, they're in first place. It's crazy, even though they're below 500. So they want to keep pace, and they want to win this game because actually, the Panthers are right on their heels. Even though they're both, like I said, below 500. The Panthers are, I believe, was at 3-6-1. The Saints are 4-5. So the Saints can't afford to lose home games. If you lose home games, then you're not going to win your division. Here you got Drew Brees just working those short passes. That's what Drew Brees does. Drew Brees is having a good season, even though the Saints' record is really not doing good. It's their defense that's been the big question, especially on the road. But Drew Brees so far this year, he already has 2,816 passing yards and 18 touchdowns. Although the 10 interceptions is uncharacteristic of Drew Brees. He's usually more accurate, doesn't throw so many interceptions. He has, though, been without his favorite target for a lot of the season, as Jimmy Graham has been injured, but he has been back, and he's been doing good since he's been back. Actually, let's see, what was his stats? Well, he was the leading receiver back in Week 9 anyway. But let's do this play. Here we go. There we go, wide open. Jimmy Graham. Can he get they closed the gap. He almost got a touchdown right there. What a play. Yeah, Jimmy Graham on the season, he's actually, even despite not being, on the field for all their games, being banged up, Jimmy Graham still is the leading receiver for the Saints with 594 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks is second. He's got 500 yards, the rookie, and actually receiver. So Jimmy Graham is a tight end. It's interesting, in the offseason, they had all that, dispute about whether he should be franchised as a tight end or receiver. 'Cause, obviously they want to franchise him as a tight end because it's a lower, penalty for them. But he wanted to be franchised as a receiver because then he gets more money. And he was arguing that because he lines up in the slot so much and lines up and receiver where a receiver typically would. There we go, touchdown, Mark Ingram. I know it's a little delayed. I was talking about Jimmy Graham, but you saw it. And that's what they got to do too. They got to pound the ball with Mark Ingram. He's been doing awesome. He's also been banged up too. But as I was saying with the franchise thing, you know about that. And it turned out, of course, he's a tight end. He's not a receiver. It doesn't matter where he lines up. Yeah, Mark Ingram, he has 551 yards on the season, even though he hasn't been starting all the games as he's been injured too, and he has 6 touchdowns. So he's putting together a pretty good season, even with the time he's missed. Imagine if he'd been in there unhealthy the whole year. Last week, he had 120 yards on the ground against the Niners. That's pretty impressive total against that Niners defense. Is pretty good against the run. He had 100 against the Panthers and 172 against the Packers. So, 3 weeks in a row he's had over 100 yards. I actually picked him in the fantasy. I think he's going to have a big week this week. That's the dude. That's what makes the Saints so dangerous, too. With Drew Brees, as accurate as he is on those short passes and spreading the ball around, Drew Brees is one of the best in football when it comes to spreading the ball around to his receivers, tight ends, and his running backs. He's, makes sure to get the ball around very judiciously. Like, he does not play favorites, even though he obviously has his favorite in Jimmy Graham, but he still gets the ball to everybody more than any other quarterback in the NFL in terms of percentage of passes thrown to each position. Those are just the facts. He's really very accurate with those short passes. But yeah, with Mark Ingram also running the ball the way he is, the Saints offense is one of the more potent offenses and dangerous offenses in football. But their defense, though, has to give them, the chance to win. Of course, they can't turn it over. Those 10 interceptions, Drew Brees has to protect the ball better. Of course, their offensive line hasn't been protecting them as well as, they could be. Hopefully that improves for them. But their defense, too, is puts them in positions. But usually it's the other way around. Actually, let's look inside the numbers. And when it comes to passing proficiency, the Bengals are 21st in the NFL in passing yards per game, and the Saints are 3rd. When it comes to passing defense, the Bengals are 20th and the Saints are 24th. So you see on defense, these two teams allow a lot of yards through the air. The Bengals haven't been putting up so much through the air. They are capable, though. They got some talent, especially with Mohamed Sanu and AJ Green. Of course, AJ Green, he's been banged up too, but he's back. So it'll be interesting to see, what he can do. But the Saints, though, number 3 in the NFL, like I said, Drew Brees, man. That dude, he is one of the best. He's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I mean, he's got a ring, and he's got the numbers. The guy is phenomenal. And especially, too, when you consider the fact that a lot of people, they didn't think he would be an NFL quarterback because of his height. But he proved all the doubters wrong. No one ever thought he would be a starting quarterback, much less a Super Bowl quarterback, a Super Bowl winner. So Drew Brees, definitely Hall of Famer, in my opinion. One of the best quarterbacks. He is definitely elite, as they say. Yeah, so the passing, the advantage, Saints, that's the numbers. Though Andy Dalton, he gets a lot of, flack, whatever you want to call it. People like to dog on him. I think he's actually underrated. I think he's actually, he's good, and you gotta give him his time. It's a tough game. He's been playing, since he came into the league, but you're gonna have growing pains. You know what I mean? It takes time. It takes 3 to 5 years to really become fully, caught up with the game at that position. It's the toughest position in sports. Oh, look at that defense. Let's look at the running numbers, though. The Bengals are 12th in the NFL in rushing yards per game. The Saints are 6th. So both these teams can run the ball. That's been a strength of the Bengals. Giovanni Bernard is injured. He will not play in this game. That's according to the NFL's injury report on NFL.com. But Jeremy Hill, he's been doing pretty good. If we look at, 2 weeks ago against the Jags, he did good. He had 154 yards in that game. That was his breakout. Against the Bengals, he only had, 55 yards? Yeah, 55 yards. So, not so good there. Here we are, 3rd and long. Let's get this stop here. Yeah, stopped on, forcing another punt. Saints D. Yeah, so 55 yards last week. He has a total of 404 yards on the season. He averages 4.7 yards per carry. That's pretty good. And he also has 5 touchdowns, which is the same total as Giovanni Bernard. And he's only has 42 less yards on the season, even though Bernard has an extra, 23 carries. So Jeremy Hill definitely is actually talented and a threat at the running back position to have a big game. Let's actually look at the run defenses, though. The run defense of the Bengals is 31st, so they are just horrible when it comes to stopping the run. Why? I don't know. Part of that is the injuries, and like I said, Vontae's perfect. He's one of the best linebackers in all of football. He's injured. He's not playing in this game. and that is really a big loss for their defense, and that's part of why they're ranked 31st in the NFL in run defense, is they've had a lot of injuries. It's just, it started off so promising when they were 3-0. It looked like it was the Bengals' year finally, and then injuries just hit. I mean, and it was crazy. They had the bye week early. Bad timing on the bye week, too. I mean, the season's still, just at the halfway point, just over the halfway point. And they are 5-3-1. That's crazy. The fact that they're above 500 and even to say, like, it's just not looking so good. They still can win their division. Even losing this game, they can still win this division. But it's going to be tough in that AFC North because with everybody they got, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Browns too. It's just losing that game at home against the Browns. That's kind of that's not good. And even last year they were undefeated at home, and then now they had that tie game and then the loss. It's not looking good for the Bengals. They could bounce back. They need to win this game really, but they're in the midst of a stretch where they have 3 road games. First, this game right here, where they go to New Orleans, and then they're going to Houston, then they're going to Tampa. It's going to be tough, especially if they lose this game, and then they have to go play the Texans. That's going to be a tough one. And then even the Bucks, you say, oh yeah, they're the Bucks, but they're still, an NFL team, and they are competitive. So anything can happen. But I think, they're gonna win at least one of these road games. They really need to win 2 out of the 3, and really, if they want to get in the playoffs, they really need to just, win all 3 of them. But I think the Saints got this one. And as I was saying, they're dead. They're second to last in run defense. The Saints are 11th in the NFL when it comes to run defense. So the Saints actually, they've been letting up a lot of yards through the air, but they do not let up yards on the ground. Part of that is because their offense is so potent, and when they put up points on the board, then what happens is other teams are forced to pass the ball to try to keep up with them. And so then they don't have to defend the run as much, and that's why they don't allow as many running yards is part of it. But also another part of it is to, they got some players up front like Cameron Jordan, so you cannot underestimate Cameron Jordan's, his effect on their defense. But yeah, so the advantage, again, when it comes to running the ball, the clear advantage goes to the Saints, on both sides, offense and defense. And then we look at points scored, and the Bengals are 18th in the NFL when it comes to points scored. So kind of, middle of the road. It's like sometimes they show up and they put up points, and other times they just, they only put up 3 points against the Browns last week. Like, what happened there? It was on Thursday night, short week, but still, they really, can't be playing like that and expect to make the playoffs. Even though they still have plenty of season left and chance if they can get it together. Like, I thought the Bengals coming into the season, were a team that was a playoff team, and especially the way they played in the first 3 weeks. But just October was a scary month for Bengals fans. It was just Halloween came early. But so yeah, the points scored. The Saints are 6th in the NFL when it comes to points scored. 6th. That is very good. They have no problem scoring. They can score pretty much at will with this team. I mean, Drew Brees, at any point, he can hit any of his multiple targets and get it into the end zone. They have some big plays, 4 touchdowns this season, even though he is more of a short passer. Boom, you see we're just working it down, just moving down, getting it going. And we look at points against, and when it comes to points against, the Bengals are 18th, and the Saints are 22nd. So they actually, both of these teams do allow points, and so expect to see some scoring in this game for sure. The Saints, though, at home, their defense is better, and so they don't allow as many points at home, and so that's going to be part of the difference in this game. It's going to, oh jeez, what the heck, we're going to call timeout. Is at home, you know, they are able to, you know, hold teams, and so they actually, with the points they put up too, and as it is anyway, you got to give the advantage number-wise to the Saints when it comes to the scoreboard, with how many points they put up on the scoreboard especially, and both these teams are pretty close in terms of points allowed. Of course, the Bengals allow a lot more yards, so you could see Shane Graham end up getting some field goal attempts in this game, because the Bengals kind of have somewhat of a bend but don't break defense at times. More so at home, though. They're similar in that fashion, that both of these teams are better teams when they're at their home. I mean, that's how it is anyway in the NFL. Touchdown, Mark Ingram powers it through for a second touchdown of the game. There he is, Mark Ingram from Bama. That's going to be a key for the Saints, too, is if Mark Ingram can have a big game, and he very well should. Basically, the Bengals' defense is 31st in the NFL when it comes to, you know, rushing yards allowed. So Mark Ingram should potentially have, you know, $150, maybe 200 yards. He is a little banged up, though, so we shall see. It'll be interesting to see how many carries they give him and what ratio passes to runs they do. Alright, we got that touchdown. Shane Graham right there with the extra point, and now the Saints are up 14-0. Is this how this is going to go in real life? Possibly. I wouldn't be shocked. There's Andy Dalton. I wouldn't be surprised though, even if the Bengals got on the board first, though. But the Saints at home. The Saints at home are a team that can put up lots of points, as they proved, like I said, on that Sunday Night Football against the Packers. They put up 44. Then even on the road, you know, 28 on the Panthers. They even, you know, they put up 23 against the Lions defense. It's the best defense in the NFL, in my opinion, even though they did lose that game. So, but I think that in terms of defense, the Bengals defense is closer to the Packers defense, or even maybe the Panthers defense. Although the Bengals, you know, it's kind of disappointing the way their defense has been playing, because the Bengals defense has actually got so much talent. The injuries, that's the thing about football, is that it's not just about who's the best, it's about who's the healthiest. That is something that can be kind of frustrating. That's, you know, part of the thing, though, when it comes to any kind of game, there is a luck factor. Just like, you know, say if you're playing, you know, cards, you're playing poker, whatever, yeah, you can be the most skilled or whatever. You can be the best bluffer, you can read everybody's signs or whatever, you can know math really well and know your odds and know what cards are likely to come, you know, but even with all that, there's still the luck involved, that luck factor of like what's going to be on the flop and, you know, the river and everything. Same thing like in football, what's, you know, who's going to be injured. You can never predict that. You can, you know, take some steps with your training and everything, and there's different, you know, ideas, different methods for staying healthy. Of course, they say if you have good training facilities, a good physical training staff, you know, you do that stuff, hopefully take those precautions. Everybody takes those precautions, though. It's not like as if some teams like, yeah, we don't believe in physical therapy, we don't ice after games, you know. But there's different philosophies on whether or not to practice with or without pads. Actually, let me call timeout. Let me get that punt return. What was I thinking? What was all going on about injuries? But yeah, you know, when it comes to practice, though, if you're going to practice with pads, without pads, you know, hard practices, some people think that hard practices will lead to more injuries, whereas other people think that hard practices toughen up the team and actually keep them safe from injury because they're used to taking the hits, you know. So, which one is right? I don't know. Who knows? I do know, though, that if you are playing, if you are, you know, somebody out there who's a football player, if you are feeling injured, don't let, you know, them force you to play. Trust your body and come out of the game, because there's always going to be another game to play if you actually do, you know, come out the game when you are injured, and don't, you know, push it too far and let yourself actually make a small injury into a big injury that could be a career-ending injury if you stay in the game when you should have came out. Which, I mean, you see guys, like, they glorify certain guys as having guts, and I mean, that's all well and good, of course. You know, one of my favorite performances was a while back, Dominic McNabb. I mean, we're taking it way back. I mean, he broke his ankle against the Cardinals. This was like late 90s, I think, and he stayed in the game. He didn't even know he broke it, and he stayed in, and he actually had one of the best games of his career, and he won on a broken ankle. And it's like, yeah, it's a gutsy performance, and luckily, you know, he still was able to have a long career. Look at there, Aaron Rodgers on the Bengals. What? No, but at the same time, though, you know, if he would have came out, maybe he would have actually won more. Maybe he would have got a ring if he hadn't have forced himself to stay in that game. Even, you know, we see more recently Tony Romo going back in that game, and it's like, yeah, it's all well and good, you got them guts and everything, but it don't necessarily do the player any good or the team any good to play injured. And now Romo, yeah, he did have that big game against the Jaguars and everything, but I mean, all those surgeries and injuries and playing hurt, like I said, I do respect him for it. At the same time, it's like you feel bad for the fact that you know that once he retires, he's going to have to live with that pain for the rest of his life. And yeah, that's all well and good, I guess, if you make $1 million and you're Tony Romo. But if you're just playing, you know, high school football or JV or whatever, you're not guaranteed to be an NFL player. So you could end up having an injury, and you end up playing hurt when you should have came out the game because you're trying to, you know, imitate, you know, the NFL players and everything, and then you could end up being in pain for the rest of your life just because you're, you know, not trusting your own self. So trust yourself, and if you get hurt, come out the game. It's only a game. It's fun. We play, you know, competition for the glory and everything, but most of all, it's supposed to be fun. And first off and foremost is your health comes first. So, you know, if you're an athlete, don't let anyone pressure you into playing injured and putting your health at risk. You have to put your health first. You know, don't go out there worrying about your health and stuff. You know, go out there, play the game, have fun. But if you do get injured, I'm just saying, make sure you come out the game and, you know, take care of your health. It's not worth, you know, it's not worth it. It really isn't. Because there's always another game. You can always play again if you come out the game. If you stay in there, you never know what's going to happen. It's not worth the risk.
Good job by the receiver.
Maybe if you make it to the NFL, then you can start doing that kind of stuff. And maybe there'd be people telling you, oh, you got to play hurt if you want to make it to the bigs. No, that's not true. You see more and more that they're, you know, actually taking into consideration the player's health more and more, and that's a good thing. You know, there's no reason why people can't be healthy. It still don't mean, I mean, yeah, it's a violent game and everything, no doubt, and of course we enjoy the big hits and everything. And some of the stuff is like, I wish they wouldn't, you know, make it so like flag football or whatever, right? It's not like that. I don't want flag football, but there's a happy medium, is what I'm saying, where you can still have the big hits, you can still have a physical game, but also be aware of injuries and not force guys to play hurt. I mean, you get hurt, come out, boom. With today's, medicine, you should be able to return. We've seen guys come back from like injuries that would have been career-ending before, but I'll tell you, if they would have stuck out there, would they have came back eventually? Even guys have been coming back from ACLU tears and all that stuff, so anything's possible. But here we are driving down the field once again. As the Bengals just cannot stop the Saints. It's just like in real life. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, in terms of the Saints, offense is so potent. It's interesting that actually I'm talking about that because the whole thing with the Saints, and they actually remember a few years ago the Bounty Gate stuff, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Coming up, second down.
Actually, I like both these teams. It's not like as if I don't like the Saints. It's not like I don't like the Bengals. I like them both. I like all teams. I just love football. I love playing football on Madden. I love watching football. I'll watch any game. I don't even care. Like, really, the thing is crazy. I'll be watching, like, that Packers-Bears game. I watched the whole game. Even he threw 6 touchdowns in the first half. Even when Matt Flynn was in there, I was still watching that game. Boom, Jimmy Graham touchdown, wide open. What's up? Yeah, Jimmy Graham. Oh, there you go. Slam dunk over the goalpost. His signature move. That's how you do it. Wide open. Easy peasy. Touchdown Saints. This one's getting ugly. Bengals haven't even scored. I think they will score. I mean, the Saints defense does allow points, but I figure I think the Bengals probably put up about 13 maybe. Maybe they get into the 20s, but I think the Saints are going to put up probably about 28 to 35, somewhere in that range. You see right here, I mean, Saints scoring at will. Bengals have not been able to stop me yet. That's kind of how it is with the Saints. They just score. It's tough to stop them. From what I'm seeing, too, I think maybe Pierre Thomas plays. Let me look at the report here. Let's see. No, Thomas is out. Ian Robinson. So yeah, it's gonna be all just Mark Ingram. Because there was conflicting reports, but the official report, you gotta go with the official NFL.com, and they're saying that those guys are out and they did not practice. So that's the official word. Oh, look at that. Jeremy Hill picking up some yards. It's kind of garbage time. Even though not really for the Bengals. They're trying to come back here. We're getting it done, though. We're doing this.
You're basically saying we're tougher than you are.
Here's 2nd and 1. Gotta stop them right here. Of course, it doesn't really matter at this point if they score. Oh, there's the third quarter. The end of the third quarter. Actually shorten up the quarters in this one. Good thing I shortened up the quarters. My goodness. The other games they did at 5-minute quarters. This one's just 4-minute quarters. As it is, it goes forever. Imagine if this was actually 15-minute quarters. My gosh. That would be crazy. We'll go on for like 3 hours. It would be the length of the real game. Even though I'm thinking of experimenting with the different quarter lengths. And this is the first week that we're doing, the video gameplay. So we'll see how it evolves in the weeks to come. What I'm hoping is for week 12 to get these up earlier and probably hopefully start putting them up, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I'm also hoping to get the dreaded Pirate Redbeard to play against me. So it's not just me playing. These ones, though, is kind of like a last minute thing. I was like, oh man, I got this game, and I was like, let me do this. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. but then I just got it on Friday. I was already did the upon further review for the Thursday night in the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way. Back in 2014, we used to do it like that. Oh man, what a big play there. Jeremy Hill with the catch out of the backfield. So yeah, I did the Thursday night one like that, you know, old way. But now we're doing the Sunday games this way. So it was like right when I was on the verge of recording for the Sunday upon further reviews, I ended up getting the game and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. See how that works. I'll tell you, I'm definitely enjoying doing it this way. I hope that you enjoy watching these videos and that it's better. I hope too that it's still, you know, the same in terms of we're still bringing pretty much the same show, like all the good stuff, but just hopefully an improved version of Upon Further Review. Let me know in the comments section, you know, if you do feel it's improved or if you like the old way better. Let me know that too. This is all about you, trying to give you what you want, also doing what we want to, you know, having fun, you know, because this was about having fun, sharing. You know, I love football and just sharing my love for football with all of you, with my, you know, my little 2 cents, and then here we got some gameplay for you. So it's all in good fun. All for the love of football and sports, and in particular the NFL with this right here. Yes. Oh no! Oh man, what a play. Andy Dalton celebrating. Oh no, what? Did you just see that? Tyler Eifert, he's taunting Jimmy Graham right there. He went and did Jimmy Graham's move. That was a nice play by him, getting down the sidelines there. I thought I had him, but bad tackling by the defense. And I guess it's not going to be a shutout, as the Bengals are on the board. And then you know, you wouldn't think when you're down by 2 touchdowns that you'd be taunting and trying to rub it in my face by doing the slam over the goalpost, but that right there, alright, if that's what you want, then we're going to come right back at you. And I'm specifically going to try to get a touchdown to Jimmy Graham, just so he can show you what's up. You don't do that. Oh no, what are they doing? They're going for the onside kick. Good thing I caught that. And now I'm adjusting, audible, just hit the X button, then hit the left bumper. Boom, there we go, that's right. He's not even supposed to be here today. Why is he there? He's on special teams. I took him out of the lineup, but I guess he's still playing special teams. There we go. Gotta try to run down the clock a little bit, but we're already set up to score again. We're up by 2 touchdowns, 3 minutes left here. Of course, 3 minutes is like an eternity in this. Look at that, Mark Ingram. I was gonna go to Jimmy Graham for the touchdown, but so I guess I'll just go with Mark Ingram. His 3rd touchdown on the day. Mark Ingram right there. Couldn't help it. You know, if they're gonna let me score, I'm not gonna outscore. You want to score on me? You see how easy? One play. That's all it took. One play. Touchdown. Mark Ingram. Saw that run? The dude is nasty. I don't know if he's going to have 3 touchdowns against the Bengals on Sunday, but I wouldn't bet against it.
The Saints with the PAT to come.
So the Saints at home are no joke. Boom, there's the extra point. In this game, the Saints are actually rated pretty good, but of course, going into the season, everybody thought the Saints were going to be one of the top teams. A lot of the analysts that I saw, you know, across the different networks were actually picking the Saints to go to the Super Bowl. They were a popular pick. One of the most popular picks was Patriots and the Saints, you know, but and then look at now. But actually, even with the record of 4-5 being below 500, they're still in first place in the NFC South, as crazy as that is.
Get ready to start their drive.
You know, that's happened before where a team has made the playoffs being below 500. Actually, if memory serves correct, the Seahawks, didn't they make the record at 7-9 and win the West a few years ago? And then, come on, get them! Oh, huge play by AJ Green. Yeah, the Seahawks, I think, were 7-9 and made the playoffs. And then I think they hosted the Saints and beat them in Seattle one year. I think that was 2011, but it was like the 2010 season in January 2011, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves correct. So, I mean, and that's the thing too, is the Saints, say they make the playoffs below 500 or whatever, right? But if they're gonna get a home game in the playoffs, it'll be a wild card round, but they'll still host a wild card team. So they'll very likely to host a team with a better record and get that game in New Orleans, where they are a different team. So it wouldn't be a shocking thing to see the Saints even make it to the second round of the playoffs. Of course, then they're gonna have to go on the road, and that's where they're gonna run into trouble because of, you know, how they play on the road. But that's, you know, January. We'll see. We're still in November right now. It's still a couple months away. They still have to win the division, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Panthers could take the division. And even as crazy as it sounds, even the Falcons, even the Buccaneers are not out of it, mathematically speaking. How insane would that be if the Buccaneers won the NFC South? Even the Falcons, I actually thought the Falcons had a good shot at taking the division this year. I thought they were going to bounce back. But I thought that, you know, the Panthers would have an off year, and then the Saints would end up with the wild card again. And they're kind of, you know, the way they've been playing, though, but not looking like a wild card team, though. They're going to have to, whoever in the South comes out of this division is going to have to just win the division. They're only going to have one team this year, not like last year, when they had the Panthers and the Saints make it in the playoffs. Yeah, it was a good division last year. The Panthers were 12-4, 11-5. I know the Saints, I think they were 11-5 or 10-6. That's just off the top of my head, but what is the deal? I keep getting these updates from the cloud. Well, there's Blood Angel. This game is just about over, though. And even with a 3-point lead, doesn't even matter if they score. Even though I'm trying to pull them out of the end zone here. It is kind of going along with my prediction, though. Yeah, I swear I'm not letting them score. Oh, they scored. I mean, on purpose. They didn't mean period. But yeah. That's kind of, you know, how it would go, too. Even though they might get their points early, we'll see how it goes on Sunday. That's just funny, a lot of times watching the games, and I like watching Red Zone, you know, and then try to watch all the games too, like flipping through the games and trying to watch multiple games at once, have different, you know, things, watching it on, like, you know, the laptop, watching on TV and stuff, watching it just on all different mediums, and trying to watch everything at once, and it's crazy. And then seeing, like, early on, you know, all the scores coming in and what's happening, and, you know, a lot of times early in the games, you know, it'll be the teams that I did not pick that will be scoring first. But I know from experience of watching football that a lot of times the team that scores first ends up losing. It's, you know, just because you score doesn't mean, oh my god, they're going to win now. They scored 10 points or something, you know. They're up already. They scored twice. Oh my goodness. You know, that happens. We've been seeing a lot of come from behind victories too. It's been a very exciting season. It's been one of the better seasons in memory. I like the fact that there's so much parity. Like, I remember, you know, it used to always be that one team would just dominate, or a couple teams would dominate, and it seemed like it's been that way forever, where you would have even still a team that only, you know, that was undefeated at this point, or a couple teams sometimes, and they just dominated everybody. But this year, with all the parity, it makes it a lot more fun, because anybody can beat anybody. And I don't even, you know, it's like, you make the picks, but even when you're wrong, like, even when I'm wrong, I don't mind, because it's just, that's the fun of it. It actually makes it more interesting. Like, if I was always right, what would be the point of even watching? You know, it'd be kind of boring if you were always right. Like, it's kind of exciting to be wrong. It's like, oh my goodness, they actually did that? Like, wow.
First down and 10. Back to the ground.
Mark Ingram getting the blocking, finding the holes, picking up another first down. Saw there a moment ago, it showed he's over 100 yards. The Bengals burning their timeouts. But this game's all but done. Look at that, not even that many carries for Ingram. Didn't even matter. He's going to get a lot more carries than that in real life. On Sunday, he should get, you know, 20 to 30 carries. Ooh, stuff in the backfield. Rusty togethers. King of War. If you actually go to one of my other channels, Random GP, I was trying to beat King of War's record in motocross, but I couldn't get it. I'm going to get it, though. You can check that out. It's Random GP. You can also check out Skool. I'm Skool, and I play on Skool. I play WWE 2K15. Here on 21st Sports, though, we do the recaps, the upon further reviews, and now we're bringing you gameplay. Madden, playing all the games. I'm playing a ton of games too, because it's like every single game, and I'm doing it all like back to back to back. It's gonna be crazy. Will I get through it? So many games, but it's fun. I was like, yeah, heck yeah, I want to play the whole season in a day.
Trying to clamp down here on 3rd and 4. He'll fire it out.
Oh, 3rd and 4, dumps it off to the fullback. Drew Brees. Drew Brees. Drew Brees.
They just have to be careful with the football.
Yeah. All these highlights, man. It's just like highlight. Jeez. Do we need so many highlights?
This is going to be tough.
I like tried to turn off the highlights before the game, but I couldn't find the option. Look at that, 12 passes completed in a row for Drew Brees. That is just unheard of. Time's winding down. Ooh, stop me. Right here, 2nd and goal. At this point, I could just let the clock wind down. But you know what, though? Those bastards. Eifert, he wanted to do that silly stuff, right? He wanted to dunk the ball over the freaking thing and everything. So, okay, you want to do Jimmy Graham's move against me? Let's see what happens right here.
2nd and goal from the 4. Play action. Looks to his left.
Oh, Jimmy Graham touchdown, baby. That's what you get for using Jimmy Graham's move. Now he's just going to spike it. Jimmy Graham, that's the 2nd touchdown of the game. And there you go. Puts the points on the board. Putting numbers on the board. Look at that catch. What a catch there against Lamar. Right there, gets the feet down. Whew. Would have let the clock run down, but like I said, Tyler Eifert, he had to friggin' slam the friggin' football over the goalpost. That's Jimmy Graham's move. You don't do Jimmy Graham's move in New Orleans against the Saints. You can't do that. You do that, I'll run up the score. That's how it goes. Sorry, Bengals, I like you and all, but Tyler Eifert had to pull that in the video game, so that's what happens. And there it is, 35 to 14. The Saints over the Bengals in Week 11. That's my prediction. I don't know if it'll be that score. We'll see. That's how this game played out. So Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you think the Bengals will win, do you think the Saints are going to win? Did you enjoy this video? Do you like the video gameplay? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want more content such as this, go ahead and subscribe, as we're bringing you upon further reviews and recaps of each and every single game, each and every single week. And we're looking to actually start doing this for the upon further reviews. This is how it's going to be. Some version of this. We're still kind of trying to figure out all the kinks of how to do it. How many? Oh, look at that interception, baby! Woo! Add an insult to injury at the end. Interception, right there. That's how the game ends. But yeah, that's how it is right there. Oh man, that was fun. Definitely a fun game. I bet you if I was the Bengals, I would have won, but of course, come on. That's how it is. Sorry, Andy Dalton. Sorry about that. Mark Ingram, player of the game right there. 15 carries, 122 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was a beast in this game. So was Drew Brees. He was in beast mode too. He didn't have a lot of yards. I think he's going to have a lot of yards. So he'll probably have about 300 yards in real life. Here's the play of the game right here. Mark Ingram. That was after that onside kick. First play of the possession. One play is all it took to get to the end zone. Mark Ingram. I think it was a 41-yard run or something like that. Play the game. But once again, thank you very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day. You have a good weekend and enjoy all of the sport.